Hey, I am on live. I'm just waiting. I'm just gonna hang out here for a few minutes and let everybody join in. I know that this has been a extremely anticipated chat. Um, I did an amazing sort of stack of stories this week asking all of my followers on Instagram questions in regards to sex after surgery and how they felt, what they thought was good, bad, and in between. And we got some really great responses. So I just wanted to share all of that information with you guys and see if you guys have any questions. So I'll do a little bit of Q&A at the end, and we can see. Feel free to leave your comments along in the live chat. I'll check in on them every once in a while. So basically, I think the biggest question that I get asked, that I see people asking randomly into the ethers of Instagram about what is safe and what isn't safe would be, how long do you really have to wait? How long do you really have to wait, especially after having BBL surgery? I think the same would go for breast augmentation as well. But, I think that's like the biggest concern for people. They want to know when is safe, when isn't safe, and why. So before I get into, the information that my surgeon shared with me, also a few others, I want to just go over a little bit the information that we gathered in the pool. So what survey says, right? So I asked Instagram, after surgery, when did you first have sex? And I gave 3 options. We had option 1 to 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and 6 weeks or longer. I had many people messaging me in my DMs saying, oh, I didn't wait until I waited until at least 10 weeks. I was really afraid. I was really unsure, very uncomfortable. My body hurt. And I just wanted to maintain my results the best I could possibly do, so I held off. On the polar opposite of that, I had some people say, oh, my boyfriend or my husband or partner, they were just like, hey, what's up? What's going on, 2 days in. So there's a very broad spectrum in, everybody's personal experiences, of course. Out of over 300 people, I would say, so there was 134 people that said they had sex between 1 and 4 weeks, which I think personally is very early. Obviously, you take your experience and your aftercare into your own hands at that point. You're a consenting adult. You can do whatever you want. But it is very, very hard and sensitive on your body. So, with most people that said that they did have sex before the 4-week point, they did say they were very, very careful, very gentle, very soft, very slow kind of movement. So 134 people said between 1 and 4 weeks. 82 was between 4 and 6 weeks. And then 72 was 6 weeks or more. So, that's, I think the average is somewhere after 4 weeks. My particular surgeon, Plazas in Colombia, recommends waiting a minimum of 4 weeks for any gentle movements, and then after 90 days for anything that would be considered more vigorous. So take that for whatever you want. So yeah, I was also speaking with a plastic surgeon, double board certified plastic surgeon. His name is Dr. Armando Retana from Washington, D.C. And he says that he has a very strict 6-week policy. I asked him if he, had any experience with his patients not abiding by his advice. And he said that he's never had that issue and that people usually take their instructions from their surgeon pretty seriously. So that's sort of where you can probably gauge from there. Of course, you always need to consider what feels right for you. Listen to your body, listen to yourself. You know yourself better than anybody. Another really great question that I put on my poll was, did you masturbate in the first 2 weeks? This is kind of some people really, they answered the poll and then they would send me a DM and, laugh out loud and lots of emojis, lots of like monkey faces covering their eyes, that sort of thing. 49 people said yes, and 202 said no. So, that's an interesting dynamic, and to each his own, I guess. Then other big question that we get a lot and that we sort of see as advice is, do you have sex in your faja or out? Now, the reason you would have it in your faja is because your skin is very sensitive after liposuction. It's very sensitive to touch. Gentle touch is probably more irritating and sensitive than a more firmer touch. And I don't mean like slapping or being like rough, but I just mean like it would be more comfortable, for instance, to gently grab an arm than to brush up against it, because the nerves are just not fully attached, and it sends all these sort of mixed messages. And so that gentle touching can be really heightened as far as sensitivity goes. So it's very common for people to choose to have sex through the faja hole. Now, how many said through the faja hole were about 77. The opposite of that would be obviously without the faja on. And it was over 101 people that said without their faja, which I was really surprised because I could not stand my skin being touched at all. And I felt like the faja was a good source of protection for any type of skin rubbing skin or anything like that. I also asked, do you feel you damaged your results from having sex? And it wasn't specific at a time or anything like that, just in general. And 20 people said yes, they feel like they damaged the results. And over 175 people said they did not. So I think that also just really really comes down to, how conscious you are, how gentle you are, how careful you are, that sort of thing. If you are going at it really rough right off the bat, you're probably going to hurt yourself a little bit. I also feel that, when you are jumping around and twerking 2 weeks post-op, you are probably also risking a little bit of discomfort or movement of your fat transfer. So my advice is to just take it a little easy at first, let things heal up, and just listen to your body and be really gentle with yourself. Okay, so we continue to a few more polls after that. I think the big one that got so many responses was the sex position poll. So if you are a follower on Instagram, or if you aren't, you can go follow me at Surgery Secrets, and I will repost the position, and I will repost all of the answers for the polls for anybody that's missed the YouTube live or didn't have a chance to come and check it out. But out of all of the sex positions, the number one that was sort of deemed the safest was the reverse cowboy. I guess it's, you're in control, you're not putting any pressure on your butt, and you can really you're not really touching too much on your body, which I guess makes sense. So I'm just going to take a little peek here at the graphic that we used for this. This was just a random graphic of positions that I found online. It was not strategized. whatsoever. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to even show this. There we go. Okay, so number one was doggy style. We had 35 people say that that was going to be the best for them. Number two was a reverse cowboy, but sitting up more. I don't know if you can see that. 9 people not so interested in that one. Number three was both sitting up, facing each other. And that was second favorite, actually. That was 45 people. Number four was on the back, missionary. Not many people were into that. Like 4 people were taking the missionary thing. I think afraid of being on your back, afraid of lying on your bum. Just remember, use pillows. Use pillows to support yourself. Like I said, number 5, the reverse cowboy, fully bent over on top. That was hands down, like by a long shot, the favorite. Number 6 was sort of the side splits. 4 people not having that one either. And then number 7 was sort of both laying down. And that was also not a favorite. That was like 6 people were into that one. There was also 3 people that said none of those. And of course, there's as many variations as you could possibly come up with. But a few extra that were shared that they thought were very helpful for them was one was standing, doggy style standing, kind of like, just arched a little bit. The other one was in the shower, bent over, but extremely gentle. And the third was off the edge of the bed with your butt hanging down. Not sure where he is, but you get the idea. So I thought that was really cool. Everybody was like super into participating in these things, and everybody wanted to learn the responses and the answers. I've gotten so many messages in the last 2 days of like, show me the answers, tell me the answers. So then I had a few more questions that kind of popped up along the way, and I wanted to share those responses as well. Does or did surgery permanently change how sex feels for you? And I thought this was a really interesting question. Now, I was asked this question by somebody who has not had surgery yet, and they were legitimately concerned whether there was a change or not. And the changes could vary and mean a lot of different things. If you are having a breast lift, maybe that means that you have permanently lost sensation in your nipples. If you've had your body done, maybe you've lost sensation, in other areas of your body that used to be something that was pleasurable for you. 74 people said yes, it did permanently change. 130 said no. But then I asked, how so? Was it loss of sensation, or did it stay the same or get better? And 15 people responded that they lost sensation. And I mean, that is a risk of surgery. If you're having large incisions cut in different areas of the body, you're severing nerves and you are running the risk of losing those sensations. More often than not, it comes back and there's no problem. 91 people said it stayed the same or got better. And the majority of people that said that it got better because there actually 86% of those 91 people said that it got better because their self-confidence was increased. They felt better because they felt more confident naked. They felt more confident in how they were moving. A lot of people commented that their bellies weren't, moving around, and it made them feel a lot better about themselves, which made them be able to open up and be a little bit more free in the moment and enjoy themselves more. So I thought that was really interesting and informative and a great sort of experiment and a great way to sort of have a open conversation about it, but not feel like you are put on the spot. So thank you everybody for participating in those polls and helping bring this information together into light so we can have it here and people can use it as a resource for the future. I do have a few other additional notes to consider when it comes to sex after surgery, and these are a little bit more sort of matter of fact things. Um, Something that you really want to think about, and this was brought up by one of my surgery sisters, and I appreciate her for sharing this because it was it's a really great point, is that after you had surgery, as a female, as a woman with all the types of hormones that we have, um, our bodies are in shock, going into surgery and coming out of surgery. Going in because our nerves are sort of going all over the place. Quite often, people get concerned because their cycles are starting sooner than they thought, or they're not coming when they thought they would. Um, a lot of women end up getting their cycle on just before, day after of surgery day. It's just part of how this hormonal response happens in your body. I mean, I'm not a doctor enough to I'm not a doctor, not a doctor, but I'm not educated in this specific thing enough to speak in depth on that. But it is a fact that it does have an effect on your hormones. I can't even talk anymore. On your hormones. So remember that you may be at higher risk of pregnancy after surgery. Maybe your ovulation cycle is at a different time than what you normally timed it to be, and you don't realize. So, you want to be really careful when it comes to that aspect of sex after surgery. You want to be really cautious with your contraception. Maybe you add a condom, maybe you do something different, that it's just an additional step. Because those ovulation cycles can be askew. The other aspect that you want to consider is hygiene. You want to be very clean with yourself, very, very cautious about any fluids getting into any incisions, all that sort of thing. Wash up, clean up, keep yourself nice and tidy, because you are at higher risk for infection, not just in your wounds, also UTIs, yeast infections. So make sure that you're clearing your bladder. All these sorts of things are really, really important post-op. They're important anyway, but they're even more important post-op. So you want to be nice and clean after surgery and take care of yourself in every way possible. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to throw up some information, some suggestions, some comments. Do you disagree with anything that I said? I mean, it was just polls mostly anyway, but I would love to hear if you have anything to say. Please, I will read the chat if there's anything. I don't really see too much. So what I'm probably going to do is wrap this up. Feel free to comment. I will be posting this after the fact, so it'll be there to go back to at any time if you want to double check on anything. Subscribe to see next week's talk. I'll be announcing more about that on my Instagram as the days go by. And thanks for everybody for showing up. Have a good night.